Alright, so I was working on the side panels here, which are the white. I did cut them in black, and once I cut them in black, I painted them more of a gunmetal automotive paint. I love automotive, the way automotive hits acrylic. It looks amazing. So this is what I did with this panel. So what I'm gonna do next with these panels, I glued them together, so actually there's 1 inch thickness when you add them all together, because each panel here each is 1/4 inch. So if you do 4 of them, it ends up being 1 inch. And I design everything on the computer, then send it to my machine to get it cut. Once I get it cut, that's how I ended up with these final pieces here. You can also use these on the laser, but since it's 1/4 inch, it's best to use on the CNC. It's just a much quicker process to do that. I always wanted to do a video series. So when I got into PC building, I didn't see much of PC modders being explored as far as who they are. So I approached GIGABYTE about an idea that I have. And the idea was, let's do a video series together and highlight different PC modders or builders in the US. And they told me that, yeah, it's an amazing idea, let's go ahead and do that. But I told them, like, the way I want to run it, I guess the way I want to film the series is I want to film it where it's strictly about them. It's not about me interviewing them, but it's more about who they are and who they are as a person and their story, how they got into PC building. So the style that I do, I always try to push more the industrial, futuristic look. I always love stuff that doesn't look like from the present. I always like stuff that looks like it was done, or it's going to be made years from now. It's like they look at a machine, they're like, man, that looks something out of 2040 or 2050. And that was always my goal when it comes to the style that I do. I love muted tones. I love industrial design. I love stuff that's very just out there, very organic looking, but it's still in the same structure of industrial. And that's the style that I always push in my PC builds, because it's just something I like. You know, as a designer and someone who manufactures this stuff on my own, it's like I always push myself to do that, because I always like when I create stuff on my own. And no one can take it away from me because I did it for myself. Or modding. So that was the approach on filming AORUS Spotlight, because I wanted to be more of a cinematic doc edit film when it comes to the video series. So my goal was always to make sure that the guys were the ones highlighted in the film instead of me. I just wanted to be behind the scenes, because I know how important it is for the guys to be highlighted and to share their story, how they got started, you know, because that was just my goal, and my passion was to give people opportunity. Some of the guys are that were sort of new in the industry, or they never got a chance to be interviewed by a professional company. So it's like most of the guys, it was the first time being interviewed by a professional company, and AORUS used me to do the video series to highlight some of the guys for the series. And it turned out pretty well, because a lot of these guys, they got motivated to continue to do what they do and got passionate, and they grew from it. Basically, their career blossomed because a lot of people saw who they were in the community of AORUS. So other brands got involved and would like to work with them. And that was my goal from all of this, is for the guys to give opportunities which they never thought they would get. And actually, like, I have met some museums, and they always said, it's like, yeah, a lot of these artists, it's like their work is done by themselves. It's done from their physical hands. And that's why a lot of them get featured, because they do it on their own. So I took that to heart, because if I ever want to get featured in museums of some of my work, it's like they want to know that it was done by me. They don't want to know that it was being done somewhere else and then I put it together. It's just for my goals. My goals is to be featured at someday at a museum, and someone can say they look at the machine, actually the artist designed and manufactured the machine. That's why I'm so advocate on my work, on try to do stuff on my stuff myself, because my end goal, or at least one of my goals, is also to be featured in some elite museums. I'm spraying adhesive. So the way I mount is put adhesive on your material and then put it on blue tape. It literally has a stronghold. It's just a trick that people use during woodworking when it comes to a CNC. It just becomes much easier to clean when you use this type of technique to work with your material with the CNC. So I'm just mounting this up, getting everything lined up so I can send it to the machine. So I'm getting ready to set up the Z-axis for the cut. Let me show you the file real quick. So this is a 3D render file right here. So you can see the panel, what it will look like once it's fully cut. This is the back panel for the distribution block, which I'm going to use a frost material to cover the clear acrylic for this type of cut. So now I'm just going to get my CNC ready. And the thing is, the way I got started is I was going to go back to school to be an industrial designer, because the pandemic hit, my photo business kind of put on hold. I couldn't meet any of my clients. Everything was stopped. So I was kind of rethinking what should I do in my life. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to school and be an industrial designer, because I always love designing what I see in my head and also creating with my hands. That was always my goal to do. So I decided to do that. So when I met some of the instructors, they said some of the software they use, it is PC based. You have a PC? And I was like, no, I never had a PC, because I was such a Apple environment coming from the photo industry. I saw a lot of PCs out there and I never got inspired by it. So, but then I came across PC modding in groups,
and I got so inspired by some of the guys out there. So I decided to do my own PC. So when I did my own PC mod, I posted on Reddit and of course on my Instagram. And on Reddit, it actually blew up. So a lot of other brands found who I was just by the Reddit post because the way it was presented. I presented a PC mod very professionally. People still to this day argue that it was a render, and it wasn't a render. It was actually a professional photograph from one of my PC builds that was being shown on Reddit, and it just went haywire. And it blossomed from there, basically.
Yeah, AORUS, and then the Z790 AORUS Master, which it's for Intel 13 Gen. It's LGA 1700 socket. So I'm gonna take this out. I think what's cool about this, because it has Gen 5 or M.2s, so your SSD, you can run them pretty fast if you got Gen 5 or your M.2s. Let me just close this up real quick. Man, check out that heatsink on this thing. It looks pretty sick. Look at the heatsink on the M.2. That's pretty awesome too. I'm pretty excited. So I'm gonna install a Intel i9. Here's the CPU.
So that's why I always go in the direction that I do, because I have an end goal eventually. I have an end goal to feature some of my machines in art shows or in art galleries. So when people automatically see what they see, they know where it comes from. And that's the only way I can make a statement for myself, because in the creative art field, it's very competitive. So you have to stand out. And you have to be recognized by your work in order for you to continue to grow to the next step. And that's my goal, is to continue to produce something. And when someone sees it, they automatically know where it comes from. That's the side of branding. It's branding and also knowing how to market myself. So when a company sees that, they automatically know where it comes from. I do custom distribution plates. The reason I do them, because I just love the aesthetic and also how unique it can be in a PC build. It just brings a different design element to the actual PC. And when it comes to designing these distribution plates, it's limitless. Like, you can design it however you want, but there's some structure to a distribution as far as your O-ring depth has to be the same, and also your channel has to be the same. But anything else around it, you can change it to whoever you want. But that's why I push myself to design and manufacture my distribution plates, and also I get a joy on just doing that and manufacturing and seeing the piece come together, as I can look at it and hold it myself and say, I actually did this. And also what stood out a lot when I interviewed a lot of these PC builders and modders is the passion they have, when they are creating these machines. And someone who is driven by passion with myself and giving these guys opportunity to shine in the community of AORUS and also wherever the PC build goes, that's how I also get motivated. It's something I can say, it's like, you know what? I gave someone opportunity with AORUS to highlight who they are, and sometimes I was the first to do that for them, and that was always a goal of mine, because I love interviewing people who have some skills and talent and giving them the opportunity to shine, because not everyone gets that opportunity. lot of people don't realize that even taking this project for a year and doing the episodes for AORUS, I put a lot of my stuff on hold for this series, and because I knew the amount of work it will take for me to produce something that is presentable for GIGABYTE and AORUS, and to give a very unique product to them. So even throughout the whole year, I limit myself on doing PC builds, and so pretty much I put a lot of my work on hold to do this series, and that shows just the passion I have for whatever project I'm in. I really put 110% to whatever project I do. My name is Ben Quintanilla. I'm one of the designers for Mods by Ben, and I'm also was the producer and the director for AORUS Spotlight for season 1. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, because it was amazing for me to do with AORUS.